be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark.
Glory be to you, Lord.
The chief priests and the scribes and the elders sent to Jesus some Pharisees and some Herodians to catch him out in what he said. These came and said to him, Master, we know you are an honest man, that you are not afraid of anyone, because a man's rank means nothing to you, and that you teach the way of God in all honesty. Is it permissible to pay taxes to Caesar or not? Should we pay yes or no? Seeing through their hypocrisy, he said to them, why do you set this trap for me? Hand me a denarius, and let me see it. They handed him one, and he said, whose head is this? Whose name? Caesar's, they told him. Jesus said to them, give back to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and to God what belongs to God. It took them completely by surprise. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Today in the Gospel, we see a trap being set for Jesus. And this trap, when you're setting a trap, it has to be a surprise. That's the key thing with a trap. The person must not suspect that you're setting a trap for them, because you really want to catch them out by a surprise. So this is what the Herodians and the Pharisees were doing. Now that in itself tells you, because the Herodians, they are disciples of Herod, or men who are supporting Herod and who are men of the state. And the Pharisees, who are the exemplary men in the Jewish religion, would look at them very suspiciously. But here both of them are coming together to be able to trap Jesus. And so that's the first thing you have to recognize. When you see two enemies lining, you know something up. You know something up. And the second thing is they try to wind up Jesus. They try to chain him up. You know, they say, Jesus, we know you are a real serious man. You are a real bad man. You don't make jokes. You're afraid of nobody. You will do what you have to do. Not tell your mouth to tell anybody anything. You will tell them. Yeah, wind him up. They wind him up. They're trying to wind up Jesus. And they say, yeah. You know me? I ain't afraid of nobody here, you know. I ain't afraid of nobody. Our jail closed. But Jesus was smarter than that. Very often we behave so foolishly because we take chain up. You understand? People chain us up. Say, yeah, you taking that? You stupid or what? Girl, boy. Jesus is wiser than that. He's wiser than that. And he saw through that immediately. Because very often people may come to us seeming to be nice. Seeming to be nice. Seeming that they have good intentions. But if you are a person who is deeply rooted in God and prayer, you are able to see through their devices. And so Jesus saw the Monogism quite early. He saw through it. And you see, the trap was, if Jesus said, well, you're supposed to give Caesar, then that would be he would not be looked upon greatly by the Jews, because the denarius has the face of the emperor Caesar on it. Therefore, it is against the Jewish religion to be in possession of it, one, and to use it in the temple to buy the sacrificial offering too, because it goes against the first commandment. Thou must not make any graven images of the Lord. And so there was a graven image of Caesar. And Caesar was considered a god as well, or considered himself a god. So you had idolatry. So the Jews That's why you had the money changers. The money changers played a very important role. So people will go with their Trinidad dollars and then they have to change it to US dollars. Well, if you could get it. But they have to change it. They have to change it to the temple money. So the temple had its own money, right? And they used that temple money in the temple then to buy the pigeon and the goat and the calf, what they would use then for sacrifice. So when Jesus came and tumbled over the money changers thing, he was tumbling over not because they were doing anything bad, but because they were thieving the people. Whereas his 6 TT for 1 US, they were charging them 10 TT. No, it was 4 times the amount. They were charging them for 1 US. So that's why Jesus did what he did. That's why Jesus did what he did. And so now that the coin has the face of the emperor, if he says give it to the emperor, then the Jews will be upset. But on the other hand, if he says, well, you should give it to, you shouldn't pay, the Jews will be upset, because the Jews recognize that this coin has the face of Caesar. But then he could be charged by the Herodians, because also you're saying not to pay the temple tax. You're saying not to pay the tax. It's so. So you are then trying to create a revolt, a revolution in the empire, and they will come and they will lock him up and they will take him away. So anyway, he was in trouble. And so that's why they say, okay, we get him now. We get him. We go deal with the case. But Jesus was wise. See, the trick to being able to get out of these traps is to change the focus. What they set was a socio-political trap for Jesus. But Jesus is not really into all of the socio-political power games. Jesus was about God. So he moves it from the plane of the socio-political, and he keeps his focus on God. A purity of heart and a purity of mind. Having a single devoted intention. That's what purity of heart means. Having that single intention. What you see is what you get. A single devoted intention. Jesus' intention is not about on Caesar. Jesus is not on Caesar. He's not on the Pharisees. He's not on the Herodians. His focus is on God. And so he was able to say, give unto God what belongs to God, and give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar. Case closed. And the text tells us that they were surprised. They were surprised because they were leading him down a rabbit hole. They were leading him down a cul-de-sac. And they knew that in the end that he would be trapped in there. But Jesus was wise. And he changed the direction in which they were leading him. He did not follow their lead, but he focused on God. His focus was on God. And therefore, because his focus was on God and what God was calling him to do, he was able to escape their plot and their plans to trap him. My dear brothers and sisters, St. Peter reminds us we are called to live holy and saintly lives. We are called to live holy and saintly lives. That's our call. Each one of us. Every single call to that. And in order to do that, we must examine daily our intentions. Daily we must examine our intentions. Sometimes the intentions may be unconscious. Sometimes they may be at the level of the subconscious. But we must examine each day. Why am I doing this? For what reason am I doing this? What do I want out of this? And to be able to be honest with oneself and the answers that come back to you. To be able to know exactly why you are doing what you're doing. And you're not doing it for an ulterior motive. You're not doing it for some other reason other than what you believe that you are doing. And therefore, that will help us to grow in sanctity and in holiness. Able to have a clear vision of what God is calling us to do and what we are doing. Therein lies the challenge for us. And so it entails some depth of reflection, because all of us must purify our hearts and purify our intentions and purify our will. All of us have to purify our heart, our inner being. We have to purify. Very often we all have these attachments that, and these motivations that may be implicit in our hearts. And we have to ask the Lord to purify them. And so that we may have that single devotion, so that we may focus on God and give to God all that is of God, so that God will be glorified both now and forever. Amen.